Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Arsenic and Espresso. Tonight's video, we will be reacting to a song that is dealing with sexual assault. And I wanted to give our viewers a fair warning because it can be very jarring, it can be very triggering. And I also just wanted to say that if you or someone you know is the victim of sexual assault and you would like help, you can visit rainn.org, RAINN.org. You can also call a hotline at 1-800-656-HOPE, and that hotline will put you in contact with someone who can help you through the process after the fact.
This band actually, they found us on Twitter.
I am honored.
People follow us. It's interesting.
Why?
Right.
But like, don't stop, but why?
So they are called When Nothing Works. And if you don't like their music, at least follow him on Twitter because he's hilarious. But I actually really dig their stuff. I've listened to their first two things that they put out. They have 3 songs out right now. We're going to react to their third one. But their Twitter bio, so they are from London, but their Twitter bio, their Twitter bio says a shouty band.
Shouty. Yeah. Ah. A shouty band.
A shouty band.
I feel like that's how like our parents would have described our music.
Exactly.
It's just real shouty.
Well, and
your parents. Sorry, Mom. You don't talk that way.
No, but that kind of describes his personality on Twitter too. He's very trolly.
Shouty band.
A shouty band.
I like it. Is it a video or is it just
it's
the
a
song?
lyric video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, how screamy shouty is this going to be?
Oh, it's fine.
Is it?
Are you ready?
No. Yes.
Okay. Let's go for it.
Go. Trigger warning.
Yeah.
Trigger warning at the beginning of this. Trigger warning. Sexual assault. Trigger warning. Trigger warning.
I love that you can hear his accent
Mm-hmm.
through his shouty voice.
Yes.
No, I think that gets lost a lot.
Yeah.
In music. And
Yeah.
Wipe away the tears! Wipe away the tears! Lean on my shoulder! I'll help you any way I can! You don't need to fight this alone! You said we're consensual! But her face told me otherwise! Where's your respect? No means no means no means no!
so this is such a heavy topic.
Mhm.
But I want to see them live.
I was literally
it would
just
be
thinking,
such a fun show.
like it's reminiscent to me of like slam dancing in a mosh pit,
Yeah.
where like everyone's just like going crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was just thinking about. So like,
Yeah.
yes, I agree. I think a live show would be incredible. I also think it's almost like sticking it to the man. Like Ben McKenty put out a really good video. I feel like I reference him all the time. Anyway.
Yeah.
He put out a really good video talking about how oftentimes metalcore bands are kind of just like brushed to the side is literally just noise.
Mhm.
And a lot of these bands for decades and decades and decades have been making really political and like music with like really intense like statements
Yeah.
and like dividing statements, like saying like this is what we believe and we believe it to our core,
Yeah.
and we are not afraid to tell you that we feel you are wrong if you don't believe this.
Yeah.
And bands have been doing that for decades, and like lyrics have been like so deep and so
Mhm.
like so on point for like whatever's happening in the time that the song is written, and like that has
Whether
been happening
politically or
yeah, or whatever. All that to say, like so many bands are often just like swept under the rug is like, oh, it's just noise. That's like really chaotic. Like if you played this band for someone who doesn't listen to metal music, they would literally tell you it is just noise. Like the drums are chaotic, the
Right.
vocals are chaotic.
But like that's the point of the genre. That's the point
Right.
of right.
And they wouldn't even bother listening to like what he's singing about.
Right.
They would say it's just noise.
Yeah.
And I'm almost thankful that it's just a lyric video and there's nothing right now to distract from the intensity of the lyrics.
Yeah.
I do desperately want to see the band. I feel like it would be like, I feel like everyone's wearing like vests, like denim, like cut off vests, you know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
like super tight skinny jeans and like
Oh my
patches everywhere.
Yeah.
But they say like vegan, you know, like like
Well,
stuff
there you
like
go.
that. I don't know.
that
That was a
they're
tangent.
they're doing a live video on Twitter. By the time this goes up, it's probably past.
They did a live
But so they did a live show.
that hopefully we watched.
And if not, I hope it's recorded somewhere. Watch it. So
Yeah. Anyway, back to the music.
With your respect! No means no means no means no! No apologies! You take the choice you made! You put your hands where they don't belong! Wipe away the tears! Wipe away the tears! Lean on my shoulder!
I also think it's really interesting because did they just release this song? Like,
yeah.
okay. Because there are several metal bands right now that are coming under fire for like extreme sexual misconduct at shows, mostly involving minors.
A day to remember.
Day to remember. And so I think it's very interesting that like all of this is happening and kind of being swept under the rug by fans and bands alike.
The apologists,
And I'm so tired of fans being like, he was young. He had never known fame. What did you expect him to do? I don't know.
Right.
Behave. I don't know. Not rape people. Anyway. But so like all of this chaos is happening like in the metal scene right now, and like people are like, we don't know what to do. We're freaking out, so we're just not gonna do anything. And this band is like, you know what we're gonna do?
All right.
We're gonna write a song about how badly you've behaved and about how wrong and
just push it in your
inappropriate you
face.
were.
Well, and
Because that's what metalcore and like
And
punk rock is.
it is. And showing like right there, you know, lean on my shoulder, right? He's talking about like there are people out there that just want to hold you up.
Yeah.
Right? And just want to help you through it.
Yeah.
And just because you have bad experiences, especially in the metal community, doesn't mean that we're all bad.
Yeah.
Right? So I think this is a super important.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's also like you were saying, like his vocals were really raw. But like even down to like the actual like lyrical content of the song, it is much more traditional, like traditional punk
Yeah.
than like what exists right now.
Yep.
I feel like people are going to get mad at me saying this. A lot of people right now in the metal scene, in the music scene in general, are people who are already successful, who then use the money that they have made somewhere else to form a pre-successful band.
Yeah.
Like they buy their followers.
Yeah.
in so many ways. And these bands are coming out and they're truly doing just like the pop culture equivalent of metal music.
Yeah.
They're putting out music that they know is going to get radio play, that they know is going to get
Super
fans.
empty, though.
And these bands are they're kind of just like going through the motions to get that rock star status.
Yeah.
Right? And that's when you start getting this like sexual assault behavior that tends to come through. And I mean, like, if you watch any documentary about bands from the 80s, they all talk about how the minute they became rock stars, they were like, we can get anyone we want. Like, and that was the mindset. Like, that was the intention. They got famous to be able to have sex with anyone they wanted to. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, obviously, that is not everyone's intention, and that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, like, current bands today are doing exactly what like 80s hair bands did of just like, we're gonna get famous, we're gonna become these sex icons.
It's just like in like the hip hop scene, right? You see all of the like the mumble rappers and everything that are renting Lamborghinis just so that they look cool for a video, even though they haven't made their money yet. But they know it'll get radio play, right? And so you see that in the same on the same token for metal bands. And so that's really why I wanted to do. And I know that's something that we've talked about a whole lot, is like, that's why we want to keep a focus on the underground scene, the bands that aren't signed yet.
Yeah.
Because bands like this are incredibly good.
Yeah.
But they have no following yet. Right?
I know. What do they, I mean, you know, we'll finish the song. We can talk about their following in a minute.
Oh, man.
Again, tangent. I apologize.
It's okay.
I'll help you any way I can. You don't need to fight this alone. Yeah, where have you been away when I had no idea what was going on? I wish I had broken down the door when it did it right then. Where have you been away when I had no idea what was going on? I wish I had broken down the door when it did it right then. I wish I could have ended it right there.
I really like that twist at the end of not just like, you know, oh, there are good people out there, but of like, oh, I failed too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Like, I wasn't good enough to, or not rather good enough, but I didn't recognize the situation in time to do something about it.
And I didn't act on it. Yeah.
And that is just as much of an issue as anything else out there.
Well, and I think it's really important. Again, trigger warning, this content is going to be pretty heavy, pretty sensitive, but something that is like really prevalent across victims of sexual assault is, or like a victim will come out saying, I was sexually assaulted. And all of the comments will be from men with really good intentions of saying, you know, like there'll be a couple different styles of comments, and it'll either be stuff like, you know, I'm sorry you've gone through that. Like, I will not stand for women being treated that way. Or stuff like, you know, like I'll kill the next guy who does something like that. Like, and they're all like well-intended. Like these men are commenting these things, trying to show their support for this victim. Right. But the victim of sexual assault, typically, instead of you saying like I'll beat his ass or whatever, like, instead of making that comment, when you hear your friend catcall a woman, you stop it.
Right.
When you see your friend touching a woman at a bar and she's clearly uncomfortable, you stop him.
You call it out. Yeah.
That's what victims of sexual assault want.
Yep.
They want you, as the good man that you say you are, to be willing to call out your brothers, your best friends, your cousins, your coworkers who cross the line all the time.
Right.
And we're not just talking about rape at this point. We're just talking about unwanted physical contact, unwanted nicknames, anything like that. Any sort of unwanted interaction from a man to a woman. And so, yeah, so like all of that to say, the fact that at the end of the video, he was like, he acknowledged his lack of action in the moment.
Yeah.
Like that's what people need to start changing. And like that's what victims of sexual assault need people to change is inaction. This was intense and I wasn't expecting that at all.
But I mean, all and the other two songs are similar too. It's deep subject matter, and they're not afraid to talk about it, and that's more why I wanted to showcase them than anything, because I feel like that needs to be praised. And not only that, but they have an awesome sound.
Yeah, a really awesome sound. You
loved,
said raw, but it does like it is just.
It's kind of like that classic hardcore sound.
Yes.
Right.
Super classic hardcore sound. It reminds me of just like all this slam dancing. You know, I really like their sound. I don't typically listen to like punk, like,
well,
and like.
And to be fair too, this is from an American perspective of American metal
that too.
On, you know,
versus
metal from London, right? I don't know if this is where most of, or I don't know if this sound is very similar to other metal that comes out of the same area.
Yeah.
Right?
But also, like, it's arguable that, like, punk started in the UK. Like, that Americans were like, well, that looks cool, so, like, we're going to do it, too. Like, we should be raising children with straightforward verbiage. Consent doesn't just have to deal with sex. It has everything to do with bodily autonomy as a whole, and not even just bodily autonomy, but like your time autonomy and things like it has. Consent goes so far beyond sex, and we need to be teaching boundaries in general. We have to be teaching that to these younger generations from the beginning, because that is the only way we will stop the cycle of toxic masculinity, of this mindset of, well, she didn't say no, but she also didn't say yes, but she also didn't say no.
She won't remember, so it's cool.
Yeah, she won't remember, so it's fine. Or just like something I've seen a lot, especially with the like A Day to Remember and all the stuff that's happening there. People have been saying like, you as the victim, like, girl, like you should have fought back, like you should have done this, like. Fucking no, none of it is the victim's fault. And literally none of it is the victim's fault, ever. I don't care if she fights for her life. I don't care if she freezes. I don't care. Right. None of it is her fault. If you are with someone, you can cut all this out. None of this has to be in the video. I don't care. But if you are with someone and like in the middle of sex, if that person says, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, and you keep going, that is sexual assault. Yeah. Like it just is.
Doesn't matter who it is.
It doesn't matter who does. It doesn't matter if it is your partner for years. It doesn't matter if it's a one night stand. If the person you are having sex with suddenly says, I don't want to do this, and you keep going, it is sexual assault and you are a rapist. And that is just this plain and simple fact. And all of that to say, if we don't start using straightforward verbiage, there continues to be this gray area that really shitty people live in. And those people thrive in that gray area. Yeah. And they continue to use that gray area to their advantage, and they continue to take advantage of people because of that gray area, because of the lack of clear verbiage that we as Americans especially, I feel, refuse to talk about sex in a very simple way. We get very uncomfortable, and nobody comfortably sets boundaries from the beginning or whatever. Like
it's extremely unhealthy.
It's a very unhealthy everything. Anyway, tangents. I apologize. I think it is super cool that this band went so hard with this topic.
Yeah.
It is such a taboo topic. There is so much negative press right now with bands, with musicians, and there always has been. And so the fact that I also feel, I wanted to point it out, like, I feel like he knew this person.
Yeah.
I feel
Right.
like there was someone in his life who was like, I thought I could count on you. We were at this place together.
Yeah.
You left me alone.
Well, and
Like,
I'm going to be honest too. I mean, I've been around this earth for 30 years now, and I know most people have had some similar experience.
mhm.
Like that's the problem.
Yeah.
Right? Is that it can't be like, oh man, this guy went through this and felt like he needed to write something about it. I feel like almost everybody has shared this sort of experience in one way or another.
Yes.
And so, yeah, this shouldn't be an outlier. This should be talked about frequently.
And it should be talked about in such plain terms. I commend them truly for writing a song that is so blatant. I do wonder if they have an album, if there will be trigger warnings, because this topic is very difficult for even people who have not been sexually assaulted. This topic is really difficult. It's very scary. And for victims of sexual assault, it can be incredibly debilitating. Then that also, you start touching that line of consent.
Yeah.
And I didn't consent to being re-traumatized.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So
I can see what you're saying there.
I do think having some sort of content warning, it doesn't make it less metal. It doesn't take away from the intensity of it. I think it just
I think
it continues to signify the respect that they're trying to show in this song itself.
Yeah.
Of like, as explicit as the lyrics are, it is still showing a sign of respect for victims of sexual assault.
Okay.
And so I think having that content warning would still.
I can understand what you're saying there. Yeah. I think that makes a whole lot of sense.
40 minutes of tangents later for a 5-minute song.
Yes, but I mean, incredible. So that's what we like to react to, right?
Yeah.
It's stuff that we can talk about. Not only musically but lyrically. So you'll see a whole lot more underground stuff like this, hopefully. That's thought provoking. That is good content. That's good music. That's what I want to react to. That's what I want to push more as well. Also, if you're still here, links down in the description definitely for this band. But also they have some great merch. Their merch is on point. I think it's perfect. So
nice.
Go support them if you can.
Yeah, go follow When Nothing Works. Support some smaller bands. Find some bands that you normally probably wouldn't listen to and go listen to them. Thank you for sitting through all of my tangents. Thank you for sitting through my angry rants. If you made it all the way here, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will catch you in the next video.